So it's going to give us a countdown that says we are live. You are watching The Left Current. I'm Angelica Ross.
And I'm Renita Shannon.
An outbreak of the cyclospora parasite has caused explosive diarrhea for people across the United States. Funding for FoodNet had not been maintained. The CDC says, quote, that program is not designed for real-time outbreak detection or response. And the Trump administration says cuts would have little impact on the current situation, said Jernigan, one of the top 3 CDC officials who quit just last year over Kennedy's policies. So when it comes to this outbreak, what does that affect? What kind of food? Because I mean, you know, I have not been eating much because listen, right now I'm packing and moving right now, and so like I'm just grabbing what I can grab. But this affects both fresh food and fast food.
Well, that's the issue with this, is that there's been so much back and forth and a lot of ambiguous information around exactly what foods are affected. Initially, we were told it was lettuce, strawberries, certain types of fruits, but there's been so much back and forth information. There's been some assumptions that Taylor Farms might be involved in this, which is a huge food conglomerate that has had so many outbreaks in the past,
right?
Right,
yeah.
and they do supply fast food places, as well as they, you know, supply bagged lettuce and those salad kits you see like in the grocery stores. Yeah, they supply a lot of those. And so initially, some folks thought, hey, we need to check Taylor Farms. They are the usual suspect.
I mean, where there's smoke. But yes, yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. And so at one point, there was information that this did come from Taylor Farms. There had been some FDA testing, but then we saw over the weekend that the CEO of Taylor Farms met with Trump in the White House and also was a major donor to the Trump administration. So now that information is getting walked back, that Taylor Farms was not involved in this. But who can really be sure? We know there's been so much corruption with this administration where if you can write a check, you can make your problems go away. So it's all over the board.
Yeah, because it does seem like, let me switch back to our camera. Because, you know, we got multi-camera situation over here. But we ain't got multiple hands. You know, right now, thank you all for bearing with us for this first launch of the Left Current. As you see, we have this beautiful set here. And so we're just, you know, going with things. I don't want to interrupt our news flow. But so what is the guy from Taylor Farms? Was he able just to make a phone call? Like
he visited the what we know is he contributed a lot of money to the Trump administration as far as campaign donations for Trump's campaign this time. We know that he visited the White House, and then we know that all of a sudden it was a retraction of information around the outbreak being connected to Taylor Farms. That's what we know.
Well, when you have friends in high places, sometimes you can get those things squashed a little bit.
Right.
Well, in other news, CBS is reporting that Saudi Arabia and the United States have reached a nuclear energy deal. United States firms will run nuclear power for Saudis for civilian purposes. Since when did we start doing business with Saudi? Okay, well,
we've always done business with Saudi Arabia to purchase oil. So they've been, you know, the Saudi Arabia and the other countries that are right there.
But to help them enrich, because by doing this does give them ability to help enrich their uranium. I think it is. But if it gets to a certain level, like they said, 60-something%, it's a shorter jump from that point to them making a nuclear bomb. So it's not that they have right now capability to make those, but by having this relationship with them, they're saying that the only purposes that they're using it for right now are for civilian purposes. That the Saudis will that the United States will run nuclear power for Saudi civilian purposes. I don't trust it. But you can go. I don't trust it.
Well, the Trump administration threatens to target Iran's bridges and power plants, which would be considered a war crime. But we know America's not new to this. They are true to this.
They are true to this. And the UK is standing on business on American soil as they ordered U.S. Marshals to extradite Andrew and Tristan Tate on up to like 59 charges, including rape and human trafficking. Incidentally, the UK has also opened investigations in the Epstein files, whereas here in the United States, we're still waiting for charges to be brought forward or arrests to be made. What's up with that?
Listen, it's completely unbelievable. And not only are we waiting for charges, we're waiting for real investigations.
That's right. They're not even looking into it.
That's right.
So how is it that, this president and administration continues to claim to be sort of the law and order party, but it seems that they're going after everybody except for who they should be going after?
Right. Well, it would be hard to go after yourself. I mean, we've never really seen.
We know the cops don't usually investigate the cops.
That's right.
So that is something. Mississippi homeowners blame a noisy data center for migraines and sleepless nights. Their South Haven mayor, Darren Musselwhite, told his constituents, "I know the data centers, want houses for employees, so maybe you might want to consider selling your homes."
Completely egregious. I mean, so I served in the Georgia House of Representatives, represented 60,000 constituents at a time. And I can tell you that if at any point a constituent had come to me to say that some type of center was giving them migraines and sleepless nights, I would not be on the side of the corporation. This mayor has chosen the data centers over his constituents and told his constituent, the people who vote for him, to move away. Consider selling your house.
But as you see, this is in Mississippi, but we're having this problem in Georgia as well.
Across the country, absolutely. Georgia.
Homeowners are
That's
complaining
right.
across the, but not just about noise, but dirty water. Like that is starting to affect
Sure.
our water supply. But Georgians seem to be standing up and attending those town halls, and I think successfully actually got one of the data centers canceled. So it is going to be up to all of us to show up and to not just see this as business as usual.
Absolutely. And that guy, that mayor, should expect a challenger, I would say.
If you're listening out there, hopefully you will be a challenger to the mayor. We just had a little thing pop up, and I don't know what, did you see that? A little thing, a little notification pop up. I don't know what that notification was, but it just still seems like everything is running fine. So again, this is the Left Current that you're tuning into. We are breaking down the headlines. The Federal Trade Commission filed a lawsuit against the leading transgender health group in yet another attack to limit gender-affirming care. They are claiming that WPATH made deceptive claims about gender-affirming care for minors, and its members profited off the claims. Lauren Gostin, who's an international public health expert at Georgetown University, said that this lawsuit represented a significant expansion. He went on to say, "This strikes me as especially concerning given the Trump administration's repeated attempts to use transgender health as a cultural and political issue," saying the FTC would highly be unlikely to second-guess clinical guidelines in areas that do not align with their political agenda. Again, I see this as something that is just a political agenda. We have been sounding the alarms, and I felt like people thought that we were being alarmist or like conspiracy theory or something, that, the folks were attacking trans folks. But everything, all of this stuff seems to be always couched in concern for kids and children. And then we saw that it was never about the children, and that not only do they want to prevent and limit children from having access to health care, but they just don't want trans people to exist. Evidenced by the fact that, the government is trying to take our IDs away, making it hard for us to get passports, and this is as an adult.
Yeah, it absolutely looks political, just because, the Federal Trade Commission, which is what the FTC stands for, they are charged with making sure that consumers don't get ripped off by corporations. So for the FTC to get involved before the FDA would, which is the Food Drug Administration, to say something about the claims that have been made, that definitely seems like something that would be a FDA would take the first whack at if a company was making promises that they couldn't back up clinically. So this absolutely looks political. And in fact, I can't think of another time where the FTC, not in recent history, where the FTC got involved in saying that claims about healthcare were overblown.
Well, OpenAI says that its agent went rogue and launched a cyber attack on a startup company. OpenAI says some of its experimental AI models left a test environment with no human direction, and one of those AI models hacked its way into a company named Hugging Face and into their real production system while trying to cheat on a cybersecurity test. And again, Hugging Face is not just some random company. Hugging Face was their competition.
Well, what we do know is that this incident exploited vulnerabilities within Hugging Face's system. And so now, what is this? I mean, this reminds me of Total Recall from the 90s.
Baby, we are living in a Hollywood like horror film, basically. The AI being able to do what they said end to end, which means start to finish. Which means I didn't tell you to start it,
right? Nor
did I tell you to stop. So the fact that these models can do that, I think that should be concerning every one of us. This was in a test environment, so I don't know, like when you build websites, when people build websites, and you like want to charge for something, they have something called like a sandbox environment, and so that's usually a testing environment that should be safe and can't really cause any harm.
Right.
The AI model broke free of that sandbox and accessed the internet. That is where the game had changed, is when it accessed the internet. So I think there's a lot more for us to be concerned about when it comes to this AI conversation, not just obviously the planet, because it has not been proven to be good for the planet, but also we have to think about not just replacing our jobs, but maybe AI might think to replace us.
It's also crazy because I remember growing up and in the 90s when a lot of folks started to get a home personal computer. People would have frustrations with computers, and what would the tech people would commonly say, the computer only does what you told it to do. Now we can't say that, because with AI has the capability, and at least in this case broke free and went rogue and did things that nobody told it to do. So those days are over of the computer only does what you tell it to do. Those
days are over, but that is why, I have a friend and colleague that Dr. Safi Mojidi, who founded Hacking the Workforce, but he's a cybersecurity expert and has done a lot of sort of consulting with companies like NASA, TransTech, and other places. But, we were talking about the AI and the conversation that we're having right now is really difficult, because most people, you ask them, especially in social justice, leftists, and spaces, it's a no on AI. It's bad for the planet. It's this, it's that. But the reality is, it's still running like the bus. It's still running, and usually the people who are either wielding it and benefiting from it are white people or not people of color. And so that's why you're seeing so much of a conversation, I think, about participation on behalf of black communities in AI. But it's just such a complicated conversation, because you don't want to participate in something that is, continuing to harm the planet. But at the same time, if we're not at the table with these AI conversations, the biases alone that the AI is learning off of is of white biases. Same thing like as we see when people put in their resumes and they're using AI for these resumes, it's being just as biased as white people.
Well, I mean, anything that you program a software to do, it's going to do. So if you program it to be biased, you're going to get bias that comes out of it. Now, the good thing about software versus a human looking at your resume is we have been unable to program racists not to be racist, whereas you can program software to not be biased.
Yes, we have not reached that point in mankind to be able to take that leap forward. But this is, the Left Current you're watching. This was our first broadcast, and I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, look at this set. Look at the set. This could not be more perfect, and this set was designed by none other than our co-host, Renita Shannon. You did an amazing, girl. I think we're going to have a home and garden section of the Left Current. How I guess it's not that, how difficult was this?
I mean, I'm pretty good at wallpapering, so for me it was not difficult. But
Because wallpaper seems like it's an easy thing to do, but for
it's not. It's not. It requires a lot of patience and a lot of attention to detail. And if you don't have those two qualities in your personality in spades, I would not attempt wallpaper.
listen, all I'm just saying is that we are a dynamic team together. When it comes to the left current, I'm over here designing the graphics and doing, some of the technical things. Renita is making sure that we got our business together and that we look good and that the set is together. So this is just the beginning of us starting off. We are going to be coming with you with more stories. If you go to theleftcurrent.com, you can sign up and subscribe and get early access. This is what we're calling our soft launch. So you will have those. You can sign up for our newsletter and get the stories in your email inboxes. But we will be going live every Wednesday, hopefully next week at 4 o'clock. This time, listen, don't worry about it. We got here. We made it. But next week, we're going to make it at 4 o'clock, be delivering the top stories to you. Our editorial director, Anais Monique, has been doing an amazing job leading our team of writers. So you will see on the leftcurrent.com right now, there are stories there you won't see because there's a coming soon page if you haven't signed up. But if you want access, all you have to do is give us your email. You don't even have to give us no money. Now, but I'm going to be honest. We need some money. And it takes money to do good journalism. You know what I'm saying? To be able to fact check, to be able to get your cameras and your people on the ground, to be able to keep these lights on, to be able to pay for the streaming, for all the different things, for our website. So we're asking that you join for just $1. $1 a month. You can become a subscriber at theleftcurrent.com. You don't have to pay, and because we don't want people to because the situation is, it's hard out here, and information is becoming a luxury.
That's true.
It's as if, like, if you go to any of these other websites, it's a paywall in order to get good information. So we don't want that. If you don't got the money, we not going it's okay. But when you do have the money, we would love your dollar because it will help things to continue. So that maybe even we can continue to have a hairstylist. Thank you, Brandon Horsley Thompson, who did my hair for the launch of The Left Current. Maybe we can eventually get a makeup artist so my makeup can look as good as Renita's does,
Hey, I did this myself.
Very true, very true. I just didn't have the time because I was trying to pull all these things together. But just saying that when you support this show, every dollar will help us to be able to make this even better and to be able to come to you hour after hour after hour with stories. I will, over time, both of us will be jumping in when there's breaking news because in America, there seems to always be something breaking. So the more that you can support us here, the more that we'll be able to join and give you information from faces and from folks who more align with the people and what the people's needs are. Because in reality, we always keep saying that we should listen to black women. I think it's high time we start listening to black women. This is The Left Current. Stay tuned. Next, I'm going to talk about if I have this set up correctly. Actually, this is what we're going to do. This was a great soft launch here that we got to talk to you about some news stories. Make sure the camera was working. We're going to try to make sure the sound working. I hope that y'all can hear us and that the sound and everything has been working. But we are going to come back to you next week, Wednesday, with more stuff. I might even pop on. I might call Renita to see what she does. But I might even pop on Friday. I might see y'all on Friday and pop in and just see what's going on. Either way, please sign up to subscribe at youtube.com/at The Left Current. And soon it's gonna be some lower thirds that say that. It's just that, I was really pulling the things together today, and the graphics team is still pulling that together. Graphics team being Angelica Ross is still pulling that together. Renita, do you want to tap on anything before we leave the people on our first little touch base?
I think you covered it all.
Okay, I think we covered it all this time. Stay tuned for the Left Current. There's so much more in store. Good night, y'all.